Good morning and welcome to another episode of Volunteer Talks. Today we've got a gentleman that you may recognise first and foremost, a certain chap that you may know from the BBC series This Country, based in the Cotswolds. He's not Martin Mucklowe, as you may know in the TV series. This is in fact Mr. Paul Cooper. Paul, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dan.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. Yourself?
Doing all right, thank you, sir. Doing all right. Thanks. Thanks, and foremost, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate your time. Obviously, I reached out to you probably only a couple of weeks ago. I'd say. I think it was on the back of some of the work I saw you done at the Cirencester Foodbank. I think related to some charity work that you and the gang had done. Can you sort of give us, I suppose, a bit of an insight into sort of what capacity you were involved, I guess, in relation to Cirencester Foodbank as such?
Well, just initially, just on things like Twitter and Facebook, I was kind of just aware of people and the difficulties they have. So it was just kind of sharing information and retweeting. And then a couple of opportunities came up, one of which was we had a charity football game, this country charity football game at Cirencester Town Stadium. We had over 1,000 people, and that raised 4 different charities. They all come to see me playing goal. That was and we thought, well, why don't we try and also raise something for the food bank? So we talked to the food bank about what kind of items they were looking for.
Yeah.
And everyone that was attending to bring something, and we got we got shed loads of stuff. So
fantastic.
That was the first, and the other one kind of from that was that Daisy was going up to the BAFTAs evening, and
yes.
Why don't I donate the money that I was going to buy for a dress to the food bank? And her mum made a dress out of bin liners, complete with a paper mache pigeon on the top of her head,
of course,
and a dustbin top. So she was voted the worst dress person there by the Daily Mail. Took it rather seriously.
Of course.
So that's kind of been our involvement, but just kind of generally, just trying to support any of the kind of local charities. So, there's another very good one, Cirencester Signpost, that helps with homeless and people on the fringe of society. So I kind of do a bit of, well, you're not meant to rattle it anymore, are you? But kind of, go out there on the streets and try and raise some money.
Well, this is it, and it's fantastic. Like I say, now that now that you're on a national scale, like I say, I love the fact that all 3 of you, and I refer to 3 of you as yourself, Curtin and Kerry, or yourself, or Paul, Daisy and Charlie, essentially, as in real life. The work that you do local, and it is kept local, which is obviously the whole idea around the show and bits like that. So although you are getting national exposure, it's all staying sort of local, and I guess that's such a big thing at the moment with being asked to shop local more than ever. I guess if it means getting involved with food banks wherever you are in the country, or like I say, localised sort of homeless shelters, I guess that can only be a good thing for you and I to try and get involved with. I would say. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, there's such a huge need for it. I think it's funny enough that Cirencester, I was just looking up, started in 2012, which is kind of around when austerity started.
Yes.
I've never quite got my head around why we need austerity. It doesn't make any fiscal financial sense whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And it's not just the people that are unemployed now that are suffering. It's people where in the family, the man and the woman, the husband and wife, are both working and they still can't pay the bills. So it's reached a completely new kind of level. I think anything that anybody can do obviously kind of a lot of the supermarkets, you know, you can leave cans and food there. They have a special basket.
Yes.
Or they'll do special days when people from the food bank will go along to the local supermarkets and spread the message. But
Yes.
it's so well, you know, it's so much needed.
Oh, very much so. And I think that's the best thing of with all of this is, you know, I know it's based around volunteering, and there is also that volunteering element of you reaching out to your local food bank of where you can assist, but we all still have to go to the shops to purchase our goods. So if that means spending an extra £1 on tin goods that, you know, are in need, you know, but by all means check your local food banks of what they require at any one stage. But the fact that we can all access that if you've got the want and the desire to assist, like you say, with the baskets at local supermarkets, or I think a lot of Baptist churches, and, you know, little, obviously, absolutely search where you're going to sort of work towards, but it's all out there if you want to. And I think there's definitely a want from everyone to try and close the gap. And obviously you mentioned there about, you know, 2 working parents. You know, there's a lot of furloughing going on now, and that might be mean one parent working with a couple of kids as well, and the mother's maybe on maternity. There's just so many scenarios now that really food banks could sort of come into their own. So, like I say, I plead for people to get involved if that's something that, you know, resonates with them and something that they want to reduce, really. Obviously, coming back to the game at Cirencester Town, Martin the Cat Mucklowe obviously played in goal. What was that whole, I suppose, game like? And are post-COVID going to be similar events to that where you and the gang would get together and obviously continue to support local like you already do?
Yeah, it was a fantastic day. As I said, we had over 1,000 people turn up, and we had glorious weather. Yeah, the game was great fun. We played a Cirencester Town veterans team who were very kind to us and let us draw 4-4 and penalty shootout, and yours truly saved you know, the winning penalty. But the guy who took it did say he put it just
I'm going that way.
Yeah. So I think he was being kind. And yeah, you saw examples of the cat. For my athletic ability, more for my old nocturnal habits. But
fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great day. I mean, at 63, I don't think I've walked properly since that game, but it's a bit old to be diving around.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the fact you got involved in it, like I say, of all the spots, you know, they say you put the ones that aren't as necessary as mobile in goal, but you still got to move. You know, you still got, dare I say, get on your hands and knees and dive low and bits like that. So kudos to you, sir, for
getting on your hands and knees and praying, more likely.
Good stuff. And then also, I wanted to have a chat with you about a new initiative I saw only yesterday, actually, the Children's Football Alliance, which I believe you're aligned with as well. What can you tell me on that, Paul?
Yeah, it's been going 12 years. I'm a director, non-paid director, and the basis of it is based actually in Belgium on the Flanders Peace Pitch, which was an area with the Christmas truce where one of the games was played during the Christmas truce in 1914.
Right.
Between the Allies and the Germans. And the message is, if you can have a game of football against your enemy during a world war, anything's possible. Football is a great bridge. And we twin pitches all around the world with the Flanders Peace Pitch, and then children come from those areas, and it's all paid for a week in September. You know, we'll get together. A lot of refugee children. We had last time children from the slums in India. We Fantastic. Were due out in April to Israel, which is a project that's twin there, which is a project with Israeli Arab and Jewish children. So
wow,
amazing. But the new initiative is closer to home. And we're looking at, you know, again, with kind of COVID and also with kind of austerity and families in similar positions where they can't afford food, is to put free football sessions on throughout the country. So we've been looking for agencies and you know, clubs and schools who can just put something on maybe once a week, once a month, for kids just to turn out and play for free.
Wow.
So it's very jumpers for goalposts. There's no kind of coaching or whatever.
Fantastic.
We did that yesterday, and we've already got Cirencester, Swindon, Southampton, Manchester, Salford, Basingstoke and Aldershot. That's all from last night.
Amazing. So, that's fantastic. And I guess you're hoping obviously just a snowball effect then. One comes, like I say, one goes on to the next. Like I say, it started locally in the Cotswold, but then just like I say, allows anyone in any region of any city or any town, like I say, to simply turn up and have the enjoyment that football brings to all of us.
Yeah, and there'll probably be other sports as well. We've got, other people came on, so can we do netball? I said, yeah, as long as the kids are playing and it's fun. So it's a bit like the kind of idea with the Marcus Rashford, the school meals and stuff.
Yes.
It's that kind of thing. And so many people kind of got involved with that, And I think that's the key, because of the 10 years of kind of austerity and cuts. Every cloud has a silver lining, and so many different projects and little charities and various things have sprung up. And I think people are having to take control themselves.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see. No, it's great to see, and I think like the lockdown has created that. Say the little thing where you've always thought you ought to do it. People are now. There is no procrastination anymore. People are like sitting at home. I don't want to keep going through the same routine. Like I say, this was born from it. No doubt that your idea, probably seeing Marcus Rashford with the inspiration that he brings, it makes you think. Do you know what? Why can't we just make a bit of noise, and why can't we bring a bit of joy, and why can't we bring a bit of awareness to so many different elements if you're willing to put the hard yards in. So kudos to you to support them. That's such a fantastic thing. And having played football to a very low standard, like I say, the enjoyment of being around other like-minded people that want to play as well creates more than just the exercise element. It's the togetherness, the teamwork. There's so many elements that go with it. So that's fantastic. And it sounds like you reached quite a lot of the country already, and that's only after a day. So yeah, we'll continue to look to spread as much message and cheer with that as well. And then there was also another one which we just spoke of prior to coming here, Sport and Mind.
Sport and Mind. Yeah, we've been talking to Neil at Sport in Mind, who are a fantastic organisation. And we're looking at doing a project for adults in Cirencester, at Cirencester Town. So it's a joint thing with Cirencester Town, Gloucestershire FA and ourselves. And it's basically a mental health football project. So adults can come and just play, and it's not just getting out and playing and meeting new people. It's those friendship groups, and they'll go off and do bowling or go to the cinema together or whatever. And I think that's really, really important. And especially after now, we were trying to start it before the first lockdown, so now it's doubly important.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very, very much so. And I love that, because the thing at the moment, loneliness is obviously spoke of very highly at the moment, or certainly has in the last couple of months. I think as we've dipped in and out of lockdown, up and down like that. But yeah, the loneliness element obviously is certainly there, and with these events and bringing these people together, you can create friendships of, people across the road that you never knew would be in that same sort of frame of the importance of, having, dare I say, a learning disability, or having that, you don't know who's up in the street, who's in the village, who's in the town. And like I say, once you kind of find that bond with that person, then can also become almost a friend for life by just simply going to one training session or one football session. So from that perspective, it's fantastic that I found an initiative that you've aligned with a local football association up in Gloucestershire with that. Is it only open to Gloucestershire residents on that one, Paul, at this early stage, if you're thinking, or what any intel you can give on perhaps maybe people slightly further afield that could get involved? Or
yeah, I think if they go on to the Sport in Mind website, there's various things, particularly in Berkshire, and I think Oxfordshire as well but they do various things, I think, all around the country.
Fantastic.
they're really good. Yeah. Really.
And as with previous episodes, now we'll put all the links to everyone so that when they can follow up and actually get to the right websites and the right links and to the right people and say how they can get involved. And like I say, if that can snowball effect to one person telling the next person about this, then great. And like I say, if it can help one person, this video can help one person that tells the next person that you can get involved with it, then we've done right by having this short conversation. So I mean that's I guess all we can ask. So for the This Country fans out there, we'll leave it on this, Paul, if we may. So I wrote down a couple of bits on here, and I wanted to ask, what was your favourite Martin Mucklowe scene throughout This Country?
Actually, it was a scene that was cut, although they had another scene on it, and that was in the pub.
Right.
The keepers. The one that was cut was a complete ad lib one, and I thought was very funny, but didn't really fit in with the story. But you can see that on my Twitter page.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the pub scene was really funny because you drink. They give you apple ties for lager. That's what they give.
Right.
But the guy who was working behind the bar, they kept pouring the apple ties into my glass. You know, the what's it, people? And but Charlie and Jimmy Walker was playing the part of Dan.
Yeah.
Kept asking the guy behind the bar, the extra, to pour them pints. So when the props people weren't looking, they were pouring pints. So I think we were on about our sixth pint, during the. So they were absolutely legless and corpsing. So, and I was drinking apple ties. and in one scene, I had to down a whole pint, and it was apple ties, and that is stuff.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Oh, it's fantastic. I would say, from my perspective, it has to be. It has to be in the caravan, the flight simulator. God, it gets me every time. I've got nothing left. You've got me, Dad. Nothing left. Every time. It's. I remember having that flight simulator back in the day. So if we're going, was it Hamburg to Brisbane, if I remember rightly, or something like that?
It was. I think Northleach to Frankfurt and Frankfurt. Sydney or Melbourne.
That was it. It was Frankfurt. I kept thinking it was Hamburg, but Frankfurt. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, fantastic. And then I suppose the other question: what's your favourite scene from the series as a whole, Paul?
I loved the driving lesson when Mandy comes up, with about what's that? What's that? A brick in her back, a brick in a pillowcase, and they just drive off and panic. I think that was the funniest, absolutely hilarious. Yeah,
fantastic.
Favorite episode as well.
Yeah, no, it was. It's just a shame. From what we can gather, there'll be no more. But they'll forever be in our hearts and forever be able just to watch it back. Like I say, we all talk of these, these series. Friends, for example. I know you're not on a a multinational scale like that, but people watch Friends back on a lazy Sunday afternoon, hungover or whatever, and I think it's just easy viewing with This Country.
Well, I think that the feedback we've had so much is about how much it's helped people's mental health.
Yes.
And that they've watched it time and time again, and it's given them a laugh, and it's given them, they're upbeat after watching it. So I think it's really helped in that respect.
Yeah. No.
I've said it's kept us going through lockdown.
And where's that beer mat with the Oasis lyrics on it? Is that still?
It's back with the Gallaghers. Royalties they owe me. God.
No, fantastic. No, that's brilliant. And like you say, I think that the nice thing with This Country, although it's like I say, set in the Cotswolds, there are little pockets like this all over the country that just make it relatable. Just because it's been done in the Cotswolds doesn't mean that Northumbria doesn't relate, or Kent, or it's brilliant because everyone would have felt that in the countryside at some stage.
Yeah.
Trying to. Although we didn't have a scarecrow fest where I grew up or anything like that, but it's absolutely fantastic. And like I say, what you've done, and obviously what what you've created in Charlie and Daisy to go on to do bigger, better things and exposing all the good things about life, and even Daisy on Instagram, you know, constantly just, you know, it's just endearing to watch, you know, just a real life cases of what was it? There was one yesterday, I think, with first dates and how people are so scared to say yes. You go first. No, you go first. And it's just like, gosh, it just goes on, and it's just easy viewing, feel good entertainment, and I think that's what you and the Cooper gang are all about. So yeah, obviously, thank you so much for getting in front of the right people at the BBC to bring it to us. And you know, thank you so much, obviously, for coming on and exposing, say, the food banks and how people can get involved, and all the other elements to it as well. Just off the cuff, I suppose, to leave it, I know obviously you've got your own personalised VMs as well, which I think are doing quite well, and I enjoy watching them back. But could you leave us with a sort of Martin Mucklowe message to sort of why people should get involved in sort of food banks, Paul?
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really got time for this, to be honest. I mean, I got absolutely no empathy, or zero. But yeah, I mean, I suppose helping other people, then they're not coming to me for food. So yeah, give to the food banks. They do a good job, really. You know.
Amen to that. Thank you, Mr. D, for your time, Paul.
All right, mate. All right,
Wish you out.